Hey friends, and welcome back to Lemon Tree Corner. I'm your host Heather, and in the studio this week we are getting started on our project bags. Yay! So we are doing the LA Yarn Crawl. I'm having a trunk show pop-up shop within the Knitting Tree LA during the LA Yarn Crawl, and we gotta start making some project bags. We've got a limited amount of time and a lot of fabric to get through, so I'm gonna start ironing and cutting the fabric now, and I think I've got about 8 to 10 of each of these size project bags. We're not going to get through that many, but I would like to make a nice selection because there's 4 days of the show and we pretty much sold out last time, so that's big. We've also got our first coloring page hanging on the wall there, so that's fun. And I forgot to show you the earrings I got at the new yarn store we went to. I'm kind of on a no yarn buy year right now. We'll see how well I do throughout the year, but we've got this yarn and that yarn. We got yarn up the wazoo that I need to use up. So this is going to be the year of using the yarn we have. I spent way too much money last year on yarn, and we're going to try and bust through our stash this year and make all the projects I have lined up to make. Like, I have a bunch of them. I have over a year's worth of projects lined up to make, so we're going to do that. So I went ahead and bought some earrings. I've been wanting these type of earrings that are actually yarn. They're just so much fun. They're like little mini skeins of yarn. So I got those and another. I also got these, which are very cute. They're supposed to be needle ends to stop your stitches from falling off, but I'm just going to use them as earrings. So I'm going to make earrings out of these as well. So we have a huge stack of fabric to get through. I think there are 8 to 10 of these to do. And what I am doing is I'm doing a larger version. We kind of modified the Erika Arndt squishy project bag. So I will leave a link to the original project down below. It's free on her blog. And I basically just made the whole thing larger, and then we're adding handles. So we're going to do big handles that are sewn onto the bag instead of the little finger loop. So that works better for the large project bag. Let me get mine and show you what it looks like. So this is the one I made for myself, lemony themed of course, and this was the prototype. So I think we've extended the bottom, so there's more of this fabric on the bottom, and then we've sewn in handles right here that sew right into where these fabrics meet. It's just a little different design because this is the same design as the sweater bag. So by having the handles sewn in, kind of gives a different look to this bag. And in this bag I have the Mabel chicken, which I have not made yet, but it's some Bernat yarn that looks perfect for making a chicken. So that is one of the goals for this year, is to try amigurumi. I have this chicken, and then I also have a jellyfish pattern. So maybe once we get done with the LA Yarn Crawl and I have some breathing room, we can try doing some amigurumi. So that's what we're up to. It's going to be a packed week. It's also the first week back at school for the spring semester. So super packed week, and then I'm trying to iron and cut the fabric each night when I get home. We are also adding in some workout into our routine. So January was about like dry January and making some better habits for myself, which kind of just got replaced with chocolate. So I don't know how well I did with that. And this is going to be movement February. So I started doing these workouts by MadFit. She's on YouTube. And they're dance workouts, which are super fun. So she does a lot of like mat stuff too, but I'm just doing the dance workouts for now because they're 15 to 20 minutes. And it's fun because it's dance music and, you know, you're moving around, and I've always loved dance. I did Irish dance growing up, and I did some jazz and stuff like that. So I really love doing dance. So it's a fun workout for me to do. And yeah, just walking around campus in the afternoon and trying to get more steps in and just trying to move more throughout the day because I have a desk job, so I sit a lot, and I have one of those adjustable desks, so just raising up the desk And just kind of doing some salsa dancing or walking in place is good as well, just to get me up and not sitting in one place all day. So I will leave a link to my favorite video from her down below, and I just kind of modify it. I'm not great at squats right now, so I'm kind of modifying anything she does that has that in it. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and grab yourself a water or a cozy beverage, curl up, and let's start cutting all this fabric. So what I'm going to have to do for these project bags is I'm going to have to iron with the spray starch, shrink everything, iron, cut. So this is a lot of fabric to get through, obviously, and I can't do all of this in one weekend. So what I'm going to do is, I've got my pattern out here with all of my sizes that I need to cut. So what we're going to do is I'm going to start on the large project bags, and I'm just going to start cutting the fabric out. So little by little, I could probably easily do 2 yards of fabric a night. So that's what I'm going to get started on here. It is the first week of school, so don't know how much of this I'm going to get through on these weeknights. And then we've also got the crafters meeting on Thursday. So yeah, we will see how much we can get through. We will at least get through enough to start on the bags. What I would like to do this week, which I probably already told you, is I would like to take one piece of fabric, right? Cut out everything we need for the large project bag and then see what's left over. I don't necessarily want to make more sock bags because I just made a bunch of those, but maybe a matching notions pouch would be cute. So we will think about those type of things and get started on ironing all of this. Okay, so we've cut out our first bag, and I did forget that the large bag you really need more lining for. So what I did was I cut the inside slip pocket, both pieces out of the exterior, because this is all the lining we have left. And these 3 little pieces, so that's not going to work. So my original plan for this video was to take the fabrics, cut this bag, cut the smaller bag, cut the smaller bag, you know, just so you could see, to kind of mass process this. But that's not going to work for the large bag or the sweater bag unless I have 2 fabrics. I do have quite a bit of this fabric left over, and this fabric was from Joann's, so I can go back and get more of this fabric, and we could make like a notions pouch or a sock bag or something. We have 10 to 12 sock bags right now, so I'm not going to worry about the sock bags for this show. I'm going to see if these sell at all, and if people like these, then I will use the leftover fabrics to make that. But we basically have just enough lining fabric for everything minus the inside pocket. So just keep that in mind, that you might want 1.5 yards of the fabric if you're going to be doing the large bag or like a sweater size bag. If Joann's does wind up going under, I think I'm going to need to go buy a bunch of like 1 yard pieces of each of these blender fabrics, just so that I have a variety for future. Yeah, I don't know what to do if Joann's goes under. I did find another place for interfacing, wawak.com, where I get the leather tape. They have the interfacing by the bolt, so good job. Found that. I ordered some already, and it's comparable to the Joann's with the 40% off, and they have free shipping if you order over like $35 worth of stuff, which, you know, one bolt is over 35 bucks. So I'll put a link to them down below if you need to get bolts and you can't get them anywhere else. So that's good. Okay, I'm going to go on to the next piece of fabric, hopefully get this done before I'm hungry for dinner. and then hopefully get 2 more done after dinner. Although, I didn't think about this. Why do I have both Star Wars in the same size bag? I think I did the same thing with the Harry Potter. I should have done this one. I think this one needs to be the smaller bag. Yeah, I wasn't supposed to do the same fandom in the same size. So we might have to pull out the Harry Potter and do one of those in this size. I didn't think about that. This probably would have been better off as the bigger bag because this is a smaller pattern. Wah wah. I don't know. I might have enough fabric to get a drawstring and a squishy bag out of this. I wish I had thought of that before I just cut that. Oh well. Okay, well it's now Saturday morning, so we have spent all weeknights cutting out our fabric. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 7 of these large bags we're going to make. So next step is cutting out all of the interfacing and ironing that on. This really worked out well because even processing 2 of these yards of fabric a night and cutting everything out takes a while. It takes like 2 hours, like an hour each, maybe over an hour each. So I'm glad to have spread it out instead of trying to do all of this in one day. It would also really hurt my hands and my back and everything, I would assume. And as a reward for that and the fact that I can't seem to manage to stick to one project at a time, we are going to ball up our La Jolla yarn, if it'll focus. Look at that, it's so beautiful. So I was originally going to do one of the Expression Fiber Arts semicircle shawls with this, but it was too complicated for me. But they just came out with this pattern, the Aimer. Look at that, beautiful. They've got like little heart patterns. The holes make little heart patterns. And it looks really easy, and there's a full tutorial. So I'm going to try this one. A better picture for you. So that's what it looks like. I don't know that I have enough yarn to do this whole thing. There is a repeat, so I could technically knock it down by 1 repeat. Let's see. This is sport weight yarn, which I don't have. This is DK. This is called Strange Magic. Superwash Merino, 400 yards, 115 grams, and it does not say. It feels like fingering weight more than DK. It's like a super thin DK if it's DK. Sport weight I always think is going to be thick, but it's not, so maybe I do have enough here. But it is quite wide. You know what I mean? I don't need it to be that, or tall. I don't need it to be that tall. So yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna cut that down. But yeah, isn't that cute? It makes little heart patterns. So that'll be fun. So I'm gonna ball that up today because I can't wait any longer. I've been waiting, what? A month and a half, I tell you. So we still have our Advent yarn to ball up. Not sure when I'm gonna get that started. This would be a nice project for me to do on our trip. So not sure, like, you know, how fast this is going to go for me. So we might also ball up that yarn. I'm going to have to try and get it in fade order or come up with my own order. I was thinking if they have like stitch markers with numbers on them, it would be great if I could buy like a set of 24 stitch markers because I'm always going to have a yarn advent. So I could use that every year to mark the order of the skeins. The order of the skeins sounds like a nice church to belong to. I would join that order. So yeah, that's what we're working on today. I really haven't worked on the Christmas blanket all week because of my elbow. Turns out it was my rotator cuff. So I went to the chiropractor. She got me all aligned, and I'm just kind of giving it a break for right now. So don't really want to push it right now. So let's start off our weekend, and then I've got a 4-day weekend next weekend. So I'm hoping anything I don't get done with these bags, I'll be able to finish up next weekend, and then we'll get started on the next round of bags. So yay, getting the bags started. I'm gonna have to split those up because that hurts my wrist. So I will have to do one of those at a time. But I wanted to share with you the eyelet shawl that we're doing. So this is the project that I've been working on at lunchtime at work. And this is the Heathered Eyelets wrap from Fiber Flux. She's got a full tutorial on her blog, which is nice. So I am on the 4th skein of my super subtle yarn, and I'm pulling out stitches. I hate it when I pull out stitches. I should really just put a stitch marker in the end because I do this all the time. So it's looking very pretty. We started with the darker color, moving into the lighter colors, and now they're just kind of seamlessly transitioning. So a very pretty pattern you can see there with the little eyelets. Very easy pattern too, and I think I might do all 5 skeins just because what am I going to do with the other skein of yarn? But yeah, I think I'll need all 5 skeins for this. But very pretty and subtle, reminds me of Miss Marple. Okay, so we are here ironing all our things. We got our big stack over here to iron. The dogs were just groomed, so Lucy's looking all nice and trim. And Oreo spots are fully showing now. So just hanging out, watching a New Zealand sheeper round up his sheep with his dogs and working on the projects. Interfaced everything. I've got a couple here that are too big. I forgot to trim these 2 down, so I gotta go back and do that. And we still have to cut out the fleece and pick out zippers and all that fun stuff. So unfortunately, I'm not as far along as I was hoping to be. It is Super Bowl Sunday. Not watching the Super Bowl because I don't really have a team or anything, but we are going to be making some brats. So that'll be nice. Little Super Bowl snacks. And I already ate all of the 7-layer tip. So we're going to get all of these things back on a sheet and organized here. Like this one's a designer fabric, but the designer fabrics are in some cases like twice as much money. So those Joann sales prices are the bomb. And so me and lots of other people who rely on Joann's prices for things are going to be in a little bit of a bind if they go under. It's also for a lot of people around the country, it's like the easiest place for them to get to and buy supplies that's close by. So I really hope somebody steps forward in the next week and buys them out, because otherwise a lot of us are going to be in some trouble. And you know, I've bought fabrics at Walmart before and they're just not the best quality. I find that Joann's is a nice middle ground where it doesn't cost as much, but it's also like a nicer quality. Yeah, so not sure what to do about that. I'm gonna get these two pieces cut, and we've got all of our handles ready to sew together. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and cut the fusible fleece and get that ready to go, and then we're gonna match up colors here. So like I've got the blue, the purple, I've got two pinks. I think those are the only ones that go together, so I will be sewing the two pinks together at the same time. Okay, so before we can sew our outside pieces together, we need to attach our straps to the front and back. Get rid of these straps. And I also want to check before I sew these down that this is going to work. So I need to have enough clearance on both sides of like about 1/2 inch. That looks good even when my machine stretches things out like it did last week. That should work. Okay, so what we need to do is sew, I write it down, sew handles on bag down both sides of exterior top before attaching the bottom. 3 inches from the middle, leave a tail of 1 inch in the bottom seam and start sewing 2.25 inches from the top edge. That seems like a lot. Okay. It also seems like these straps are super long, but I know once we sew them down, you know, once we do that, it's not that long on the top. Okay, so I'm going to sew it with, if I do it with the seam towards the center, then I'm never going to tangle up. I'm never going to twist my handle. Never going to twist my handle. Okay, so we need to find our center. Okay, we are ready to go. So I am going to line this up with my chalk mark, which you can barely see. And I'm going to just sew over top of the stitches I already have here. So we're just following those stitches. And I'm going until this point. I just want to like visualize everything before I start. And then we're just going to top stitch. So it's a lot to concentrate on, that's for sure. And then I'm going to go straight across here and we're going to do our backs. Let's just take a look. I'm getting paranoid here. pretty big. Let me look at the sweater size. Now my sweater size is just a little bit bigger, but it's pretty same size. I wonder, now I feel like these are too big, because that's about, this one's definitely about 2 or 3 inches taller, and maybe 2 inches wider, but it's not that big of a difference. I really should have made one of these before I cut them all out. Now this was the first prototype I did, but it is not that much larger than the other size bag that I have. So what was this one? This one, so it's the same width, but it's definitely taller than this one. This one was about an inch shorter, almost 2 inches shorter. So I could technically make them a little shorter. I don't know, I already cut all the fabric, so it's really just a waste of fabric at this point to cut 2 inches off of all of the pieces, right? Right, so we've got our pocket in here. Yeah, I'm not sure. Hey friends, so that's it for this week. Let's take a look at our bags. We only got through 3 bags, so we will be spending next week working on these as well. The first one is our pretty Alice in Wonderland theme. Very pretty with all the cute little Disney-esque teapots. That's fun. Next we have our moths and grasshoppers and lizards, so that's fun with a cute little stripe. So this is the second one I did. I did decide to cut the 2 inches off the top. Don't worry, I save all those type of scraps for future quilting projects, so they will not go to waste, but it is a waste of the interfacing, which is kind of annoying, but I would rather establish that this is the size of the bag than the other one, so I will just have one that's the wrong size. I don't want to make a bunch of these and then next year show up with a different size, so we'll just establish that. Somebody will get lucky and get a larger bag for the same cost. And the third one is our fun treats. It's very fun with a super dark, grungy navy background, so that's fun. And a rainbow zipper, so that's fun. So we only got through 3 of the 4. Good news is I have a 4-day weekend coming up, so we will complete the other 4 and then we will get started on the next bags. I think we might do the eyeglass case in there as well. That's it. I really haven't gotten anywhere on my crochet projects. My elbow is still hurting a bit, and I tried the one pattern I was gonna use that yarn for, and it's a little too complicated. I was struggling just starting it, and then I'd have to like literally match every row up. With the heart pattern, I'd have to match all of the spaces up. So decided that was too difficult. I've got 2 other patterns. I'm gonna give it a shot with those 2 and see if I can work those ones out, and then I can start using that yarn. But other than that, we're all done. I have taken my passport picture, so I can now dye my hair purple. So we'll be doing that in the next episode, along with working on the bags, maybe the eyeglass case, and then we gotta start cutting out all the fabric for the next size bag as well. So hope you join me next week. Hope you've had a good time and have a wonderful week ahead. Love you, friends. Bye.